Hey guys, welcome to the Massive Iron Channel. I'm Steve Shaw. In this video, we're going to talk about the natty limit. Has it been shattered? Before I get into this topic, if you have any questions or comments, drop them down below. The best topic ideas that turn into videos just like this. If you need coaching, check out the link down below. I'd love to work with you. And don't forget, every Friday at 11 Eastern, Massive Iron Live. So, I was watching a video, I'm looking at the title right now, by Smart Simple Fit. And it was basically an interview with Jeffrey Verity Schofield, and the title, the thumbnail was Natty Limit Shattered. So I thought this would be a good topic for conversation. Now, before I dive into this, I just want to say I hope everyone understands the intention. We'll take some time to listen to this video and the intention of this video. What I'm trying to do is add some depth to the discussion of the whole natty limit, natty potential thing, because it's something I've spent my entire life studying. I've used it as a guideline for other lifters to kind of help them understand what they could achieve naturally. There's so much confusion out there with all the influencers on megaroids and PEDs and so on and so forth, that for the average lifter, sometimes it can be really difficult to understand what is achievable naturally and what isn't. And it was always my intention to study this to help people understand what was achievable, what was possible naturally. So we call this natural potential. Sometimes it's referred to as a natural limit. And I think when it's referred to as a natural limit, we're talking about a soft limit. We're not trying to limit people, but the reality is there's some layers to this, and we need to discuss this. First, the difference between muscle building and strength building, and I'm going to get into that in just a second. But in the muscle building world, when we look at the history of all the best bodybuilders, Reg Park, Steve Reeves, all the naturals over the years, you look at natural competitors in top federations, right? Actual bodybuilding competitors. You compare them to Steve Reeves, to all of your mega stars nowadays, Bald Omni-Man and Jeffrey Verity Schofield and Alex, and so on and so forth. And you see they're, all around the same area, right? So I'm going to talk about that a little bit. I want to talk about what natural limits are, and address if they've been shattered, because they haven't. I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, but I think we need to temper this discussion a little bit, because it's easy to get super emotional and be like, yeah, fuck natural limits, and you're trying to limit me, man, and things have been shattered. Well, they haven't been shattered in the muscle building world. And again, I don't mean any disrespect, but I hope you guys understand that I'm coming at you from, a place that I believe to be true. I mean, looking at the history of natural bodybuilders, looking at all the classics and having looked at their stats and studied it and studied people who have studied it, we simply aren't shattering anything, muscle-wise. That doesn't put down the accomplishments of these men, not at all, not in the least. I know what it's like to train hard. I've dedicated my life to training hard. Sometimes I've questioned my sanity, with what I do in the gym, but I love doing what I do, and I know these guys train hard. I've spent time in this industry. I've worked with so many quality people, and I know they all train hard. And that's one thing I've tried to stress on this channel, is that these guys train fucking hard. They train hard. It's next level hard. So I have nothing but respect for how hard these guys train. So please don't cross any wires or misinterpret me. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. But before I do, I want to address where some of the confusion comes in. It's from the strength building world. So Where powerlifting was, 10, 15 years ago, where strength standards were 10 or 15 years ago, we have evolved a lot. Over the years, we've evolved a lot. Back in the day, I believe, I don't know, the 700-pound deadlift stood for how many years? 43? I can't remember. 23, 33. It's been a while since I looked at the exact number. But I just recall that number stood forever. That it was just like the gold standard. And, when I competed, I don't know, 15 years ago, or no, it was 10 years ago or whatever, on stage with some of the best in the world at the time. Back then there was only like 80 people that had ever hit a 2,000-pound raw total. And, in the natural side of things, the standards were a little bit lower. But there is a difference between strength and muscle building. Muscle building is more physiologically limited, right? Whereas strength building, you have technique, you have the ability to strengthen your joints, to improve your technique, to improve all kinds of things, right? To maximize your leverages, et cetera, et cetera. So strength, we don't really know what's possible strength-wise. And I think that's a fair and reasonable assessment. We don't really know what is possible strength-wise in the natural realm because it's still evolving. We really haven't hit a period of 30, 40, 50 years where the lifts really haven't changed at all. And I think eventually, unless we become cyborgs and start taking DNA-altering pills, which is probably likely in the technological direction we're headed, that unless we do that, probably eventually you're going to see a rate of decrease. Right now, I think we're in kind of a golden era, so to speak, or a second golden era of powerlifting where things are really going up, right? And the bar is really being raised naturally. And I find that to be incredibly interesting. I really do. Do I think it's going to kind of slow down a little bit? Yeah, I do. Eventually it has to, right? Eventually it's going to have to slow down. That's kind of the nature of sports performance. Do I know how far away that's going to be? No, I don't. Would it surprise me if we're seeing naturals routinely pulling 900 eventually? No, it wouldn't surprise me. Nothing would surprise me from the strength side of things. So we'll see. There'll come a point where things will start to plateau and we kind of will reach a longer period of time where we'll know this is pretty difficult to achieve. But still, strength-wise, there's a big gap between like where these top level guys are and what is reasonable for you guys to achieve in the gym. I made a post on Instagram the other day basically saying that a lot of you come to me thinking 1,000 to 1,200 pound total is a joke, right? You think it's a joke. Well, very few people achieve it. And I'm not trying to lower the bar or lower the standards, but that's good strength. That's good walking around on earth everyday strength. Seeing these outliers and stuff, super impressive. But here's where things get confusing, and excuse my long ramble. When we start talking about muscle building and kind of natural potential and natural limits, and I don't really like using the word natural limits anymore because very few people ever get close to them. So it's more like a natural potential guideline, right? But when we start talking about that in the muscle building world, all of a sudden the strength building world can enter like a bully and say, there are no limits. Limits shattered, right? And absolutely, but that's a different game. It's checkers and chess. We know, like if we sit here right now in the muscle building world, and we know the strength standards are changing and evolving, but we also know the muscle building standards are not changing or evolving, right? They've been the same forever. Bald Omni-Man isn't bigger than Steve Reeves, right? Jeffrey Verity Schofield isn't bigger than Steve Reeves. We know there's soft limits. This is more guided by physiology, right? How big naturally we can get. And if it wasn't, right, we would continue to see growth, but we're not seeing growth. We're seeing kind of folks that level out around the same area. So here's kind of the problem we can get into. We can assume when we're on the upswing, making really good progress, that we have it all figured out and it's going to continue. And that's one of the biggest lies, that I've witnessed in my many, many years of doing this. Guys that are the young crowd coming up, and this is no disrespect to anybody. This is not a slap at anybody. This is just reality. It's how it is. When we are coming up in our era, in our generation, and things are going really well, we think that train's going to keep going. We're going to smash everything muscle-wise, and then things level out, and we're on that same plane as previous decades, lifters of previous decades. But sometimes we can sit on our high pedestal, and I say we in a general sense. This isn't referring to anybody at all, but I hope you guys understand that. But we as a community can think we train harder than previous generations. Or our methods are smarter than previous generations, and they might be to a degree, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be more effective, at that kind of soft muscle building limit. And there's that word limit. But if we think we train harder than people from previous generations, that's more ego talking, right? That's more like we are better than them because we're older than them, because we're more advanced than them. Well, are we? Perhaps we are, but that brings up an interesting point. If we are more advanced, if we are training harder, why are we about at the same level as natural lifters, bodybuilders from the past 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years? So really what this does is shine a light on the subject of natural potential and how it's a soft limit. It generally is a soft limit. No matter how hard we think we're training, we're really no better than these guys. And that can seem like a negative thing. That can seem like, we're just being negative, right? We're just being negative. But really, it comes down to being quite an accomplishment to reach that level. And I have never personally seen anybody smash that level in my lifetime, more than a pound or two. And some of that can be bone size, and overall height and different factors, like that allow for more muscle mass on your frame. So there's obviously some minor variance. Some confusion enters the mix when we talk about arm size, because I've tried to provide some arm size recommendations. Basically, you have your styloid process, which is the bump there, and if you measure right here, and add wherever your body fat percentage is and add about 10 to 11 inches, that's kind of where your arms could be at your current body fat percentage, right? Just a general guideline. And I've mentioned, I really haven't seen, well, it's obvious when you talk about this over the years, you're going to get many, many lifters that say, my arms are well bigger than that, and I only have 12% body fat, and they have like 32% body fat. You get a lot of that stuff, right? Or my arms are 20 inches natural, and I'm at 12% body fat, and then you say produce a picture, and they don't. So we get a lot of that stuff in the industry, and we'd be liars if we say we didn't, right? But I think with arm size, obviously there are some rare cases. You have guys like me that have longer biceps, right? That look really impressive at my side, and when I flex, it looks like a flat potato with no peak. And then you have guys that have that really big peak, so the shape can come into play and enhance the arm size, because the muscle when it's flexed is higher. It's more of a peak than a potato. So you have things like that can impact overall arm size. So, I've never been one that's wanted to come out and say, there are like there are no way you could ever have 19-inch arms naturally. I've just never seen them personally lean. I think maybe one time somebody slid into my DM and I don't know, it's close to 19-inch pumped, and I'm pretty shocked. But there can be some confusion in that end of things as well. And I'm babbling right now simply because of different shapes and peak sizes and all that kind of thing. But the point I really wanted to make in this video is that we're talking titles like this, like natural limits, shattered. I hesitate even to make a video like this because I'm not trying to poke the nest, but I think there needs to be balance, and I'm going to be the balance guy. Like me, hate me, whatever. But we aren't shattering natural muscle building limits. And there's that limit word. We're not shattering it. We're simply not. Strength, yes, we are. Muscle, these guys are doing great. But shattering is a big word to toss around. And we're in the shadow of the legends, but we haven't shattered the legends. And that's the reality, and that's the best way I can put it. No disrespect meant. So guys, hope this video has been of some help. If you have any questions or comments, drop them down below. If you made it this far in this video and have yet to subscribe to my channel, please do. I'd appreciate the support. So guys, as always, thanks for watching. Have a great day.